The baseball offseason is reportedly in the works, as the Texas Rangers are set to acquire outfielder Brandon Nimmo from the New York Mets in exchange for second baseman Marcus Semien. A one-for-one exchange of two massive contracts is rare in MLB, but this deal appears to be the product of two franchises coming off dismally disappointing campaigns seeking to dramatically reimagine their rosters in hopes of better results in 2026. And before delving into free agency to address their needs, the Rangers and Mets having opted to swap these two high-profile hitters in a trade few could have foreseen a few months ago. Just days after shedding more than $20 million in projected 2026 salary commitments by non-tendering 4 arbitration-eligible players, including 2 key starting position players in right fielder Adolis Garcia and catcher Jonah Heim, this trade will also contribute to lessening Texas's payroll in the short term, with Nimmo slated to make $20.5 million in 2026 compared to the $26 million owed to Semien. But with Nimmo under contract for 2 additional years, Texas is taking on more guaranteed salary overall, with Nimmo owed a total of $102.5 million over the next 5 seasons, while Semien's obligations amount to $72 million over the next 3. The Mets are reportedly sending an additional $5 million to Texas to help offset the difference. Why did Rangers add Brandon Nimmo? The purpose behind these cost-cutting measures for Texas remains to be seen. There is still nearly a full offseason in front of us that will help clarify whether the priority is strictly to shrink payroll no matter what, or if these are just the earliest transactions intended to drastically reshape a roster that has proven stale and inadequate since its World Series triumph in 2023. It's on the Rangers to show their fan base that the latter is the case, and if so, it'll be fascinating to watch if the front office can reallocate these resources in a way that repositions the roster for postseason contention in short order. From a roster standpoint, Nimmo, who turns 33 just after opening day next year, effectively replaces Garcia in the outfield. He's a notable upgrade offensively as a balanced left-handed hitter with strong on-base ability, but a downgrade with the glove. It's worth noting that Nimmo has barely played right field over the past half-decade, but is also considered well below average in center field, so it'll be interesting to see what outfield alignment Texas prefers with Nimmo reportedly in the fold. Ascendant star Wyatt Langford, meanwhile, has played only left and center field in the majors, so perhaps he'll be given the green light to seize the everyday center field job. Langford can slide over to right, and Evan Carter can handle center. Josh Smith, a valuable utility man who has bounced all around the diamond, projects as the most likely replacement for Semien at second base as things stand, but there's a lot of winter left for Texas to address that spot in other ways if it so chooses. Why did Mets add Marcus Semien? For the Mets and their ultra-wealthy owner Steve Cohen, who has shown zero hesitation in pushing their payroll to stratospheric levels, the exact details of the finances of the trade are far less important than what it does for the roster, and how it can help the Mets get back on track toward the championship Cohen desperately seeks. In Semien, the Mets are getting an elite defender at second base, who should pair brilliantly up the middle with shortstop Francisco Lindor. If upgrading the defense overall is a priority for New York as has been reported, adding Semien is a great start. But whether Pete Alonso returns and which external additions or internal prospects will be replacing Nimmo in the outfield will influence those efforts considerably in either direction. And with Semien's bat trending in the wrong direction as he enters his AGE 35 season in 2026, the Mets will either have to hope he can reverse that trend, or find other ways to restock a lineup that was quite productive in 2025 with Nimmo as a regular contributor, especially if another mainstay in Alonso departs. Semien's new cemented spot at the Keystone also invites questions about the roles for Jeff McNeil, Brett Baty and Ronnie Mauricio. It would hardly be a surprise if another trade is in the works to address other roster needs by dealing one of those infielders. Regardless of the exact ramifications of this deal for both franchises, this is an undeniably stunning and abrupt conclusion to both players' tenures with their now former squads. Nimmo knew only the Mets, having been drafted out of a Wyoming high school in 2011 and developed into a franchise staple in the outfield, playing nearly a full decade in the majors with New York. Semien's time in Texas may not have been quite as deep-rooted as Nimmo in Queens, but his arrival alongside Corey Seager in free agency ushered in a new era of Rangers baseball that quickly resulted in the franchise's first World Series title in 2023, and for that, Semien will never be forgotten in the DFW area.